Okay, Kitty.
All right. A few things about the bill that was mentioned earlier. I'm told that the gasoline tax bill is supposed to be run. I believe the gasoline tax or the bond bill is supposed to be run this Thursday at 10 in the Public Transportation House. That is the MAC building. It's actually the room B.
No cameras.
Well, yeah, they don't have it there. I should be able to be at that one. Another bill was filed, was SB 723, also by Senator Wallace. It deals with special elections. I'm told this is the one that's similar to Nate Bell's bill that was an attempt to ban these special millage tax increases. And of course, that's what I'm campaigning against right now is the Bryant Millage Tax increase.
Can I add something to 1726?
Yes.
It will be a vote called by the governor in a special election.
Yeah,
That's important to know.
Yeah.
Hang on a second.
It can be
The
general.
governor can determine when he wants to call that for a vote before the.
And that's in the bill?
Yes.
It's
Yeah, the
special,
bond bill.
special election
That
or
is
general, but I think
crazy.
he's gonna do it special to
Yeah,
get.
you got it.
It's crazy, man. This
This
guy's crazy. I'm serious.
Earlier, I recorded his press conference where he announced that ATN is still going to be getting a budget. I forgot how much money they're actually getting. It's most likely several $1 million. And he was also asked about the bathroom bill. He said that he did not think it was needed, which is his way of saying no. And then I asked him if taxes overall were going to increase or decrease. And he said no. He pointed out, he bragged about the $50 million income tax cut.
And that's going to occur in 18 and 19.
Yes, and then he included the $100 million from last year. And so he said that no, there's no way that taxes are going to increase. Well, just the internet tax alone, I believe, is 120 million? 140 million. That's just that. And I asked about this session, so that's going to make it more taxes than the income tax cut. And then if the tire tax goes through, that's several more million. If this gasoline tax goes through, that's several more million. And so,
Hundreds of millions.
so I don't know, I guess he was using Common Core math, but overall, the taxes are going to increase in what is a Republican majority legislature. And then, of course, I'm dealing with a Bryant Millage Tax that's going on March 14th. I'm going to interview on 4, the Dave Elswick show. And then earlier this morning, on they were on 1037 The Buzz, the pro-tax people. They sponsored, they bought several hours worth of radio to claim that the tax increase was for the children, and they try to mark it off as an investment.
Who is the sponsor?
The Bryant Millage Tax, they're actually a group called Keep Bryant Moving. They originally started to... Progressive. Yeah, well, they started to do the bond extension.
What's their funding source, though?
And, well, they get donations from finance, First Security. You can look on the campaign finance reports where they have to Keep Bryant Moving. And you can see what they originally, they were funded to support the $23 million bond extension that was passed in Bryant in August. And the big slogan on that one was, we're funding these things without new taxes. Well, after they did that, a few months, actually November of last year, right after the election, they refiled again saying we're now part of the Bryant Moving.
Is the wording of the millage increase, is that like a no is a yes or a yes is a no, or is it straight out?
No, it should be for and against, either for the millage tax or against it.
Kenny, could you back up and talk about the what you asked? You said you asked the governor about whether or not we're going to end the session paying more taxes than we were.
Yes.
Did you already mention that?
Yes, that's what I'd asked earlier. I also, at the Saline County GOP, I asked John Gilmore, his spokesman, a similar question. He gave a similar answer. That he wasn't as definite about there not being an overall tax increase, which he should be in one way or the other, but they basically have the line that they're claiming that we're not going to have tax increases, but it looks like we probably are.
Well, we need to, I'm just saying, we need to refute that, and I'm sure we'll get to the actual hard numbers on that, but, he claims that he's cutting by $50 million,
Right.
But, I mean, if you take in the tire tax, the sales tax, I mean, just alone, it's $140 million for the internet tax.
Right.
I mean, so, I mean,
And the 6.5%
Yeah, that's gonna
Gas
be
tax,
a
that's
month.
another 150 million.
Yeah, yeah, I just
Now,
feel
there
like,
are people making less than $21,000 going to be able to afford that to get.
Exactly.
Excuse
my
me,
point is,
they're
if
gonna
you,
be
if we can
capped.
just make a graph or something, and I'll see if we can get on that, I mean, just circulate that on
Well,
Facebook.
I ran the numbers the other day, and I got up to about $340 million.
That's insane.
Yeah, you're probably right with those three,
Actually,
just those
probably
three
is.
taxes so far.
I ordered
Until
something
there's
on
seven
Amazon
on the
yesterday,
tax years.
and it was 10%. I ordered on Amazon yesterday, it was 10%
Oh, it
tax.
was.
Already.
They're already doing it?
Yeah,
Yes.
Amazon
Yeah,
is
Amazon-
voluntarily said they're gonna do it.
Amazon, that's why
It only
I'm-
took the legislation to be filed, and they said, we'll do it.
Okay,
Well, I knew they volunteered for some
I'm in here.
states, but I didn't know.
They did it in Mark.
Remember, all these taxes you're talking about will not cover the unfunded liability for a pension plan.
Absolutely.
I mean, you don't, won't even begin to cover it.
And that's probably part of the millage tax too, the one in Bryant and probably the other ones. I actually obtained a picture of an email sent out from the school members there that saying that they are gonna get a raise if this tax increase in Bryant passes, starting as early as April. And of the $96 million in debt that they're gonna have over 30 years, the 65 million of that is supposed to go to buildings. So where's the rest of it supposed to go? Most likely to pay raises and pensions. The teachers haven't got a pay raise, but the administrators have. The incoming administrator is supposed to be getting, after perks and pensions and iPads and cell phone, close to $300,000 a year, which is not quite 10 times the salary of the average Bryant citizen. So that kind of tells you a little bit of what's going on. It's not just those in government, it's oftentimes the administrators in government. If you remember the Trey Gowdy speech regarding the IRS, the people that were complaining to him about how they were having to make cuts, all of those were state employees themselves. What happens is these administrators, they'll hide behind teachers, or if it's a school tax, janitors and whatnot, or if it's, they'll hide behind first responders and not give them a pay raise unless a tax increase goes through. That was with the North Little Rock sales tax a few years ago. Was they had half of it was the police and fire, and half of it was for Pat Hayes slush fund, and so you voted against it, you were against police and fire. And so that's the kind of deceptive tactic that they do regarding these tax
But
increases.
Little Rock, prior to that, we lived here, they did the same thing and people passed it and then they didn't get it into the firemen or the police.
Exactly.
Hey, think about this too. $300,000 they're gonna pay for the superintendent of schools in Bryant. How many schools they have down in Bryant? About 4 or 5?
Yeah, about 6 or 7 in the school district
Okay,
area.
about 6 or 7, they all got principals and assistant principals, etc. But you have a superintendent over 6 or 7 schools. Now think about that.
50,000 schools.
276 superintendents in the state of Arkansas.
And that does include assistants and then
Think about that. How many millions and millions of dollars are being paid out for a top-heavy? I mean, that is so top-heavy, it just makes your head spin. I'm gonna have Rod come up and say a few words about school, something to do with schools, and we'll do some real fast.